Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Made. I know it's been a minute since I've posted a video. I did mention it in my last video that I was starting a 7-week semester for nursing school in January, and I mentioned that I thought it was definitely going to be time consuming, which it ended up being very time consuming, like more so than I actually even anticipated. And I honestly just wasn't able to find the time to make a video during that. And as much as I love making these videos, my school is a little bit more important. So I, did what I had to do there, and now I'm on a 2.5 week break until my next 7-week course starts in the middle of March. Which will probably be pretty time consuming as well. But I am going to hopefully record another video while I'm still on break, and then try to strategically post it while I'm in school next semester. That way I still have some content coming out for you guys. But anyways, enough of my boring school problems. Yeah, so I was actually really surprised today when I was gathering up my projects to show in this video. I don't really have a lot of time to knit, exclusively knit right now in school. Pretty much all of my knitting is done while I'm studying, so while I'm reading, or I even take my knits, my knitting projects, to my lecture and I knit while my teacher is lecturing. But I've only been working on things honestly that are in stockinette stitch. So because I don't have to look at it, I can just knit stockinette stitch and it's easy breezy, not a problem. But ribbing, any kind of edging, lace, not gonna happen. I can't do it while I'm trying to focus on school. With the stockinette, I can work on it because it actually is almost like having a fidget spinner while I'm studying. It kind of keeps my subconscious mind occupied, and keeps it from wandering while I'm studying. But any further than that, I don't have the time for a lot of exclusive creative knitting. So with that, I was a little shocked when I was gathering up my projects today to do this, and I realized that I actually had more than I thought I did. So this is actually my first finished object. It's my Robinson wrap cardigan. And I actually realized that I had been pronouncing it wrong in my last video, the entire video. I think I was saying Robinson's wrap cardigan, which isn't too far off, but it's still wrong. It is the Robinson wrap cardigan by Florence of Handmade by Florence. She is an up-and-coming designer, I suppose. I know she's put out a few designs. This is the first one I've personally knit by her. I was really excited when I saw the pattern, and I pretty much bought it right away and was determined that I was gonna make it. And then coincidentally, I came across the yarn on sale at like a thrift, not a thrift store, but of that like type of store. And I cast it on the day after Christmas, which I think is Boxing Day. I don't know. I don't think we call it Boxing Day here in America, but I think it's Boxing Day in other countries. I don't know. Or if we do call it Boxing Day here in America, I'm just not aware of it. I don't know. But anyways, so I thought I was on such a roll with it when I first started knitting it, and it's DK weight yarn. So I thought for sure I was going to be done with this, I don't know, in the middle of January at the latest. I didn't think it was going to take me very long. But then school started, and school ended up being really time consuming and difficult. So it really slowed down the process. Plus I had other whips that I was working on. But I did push through, and I pretty much worked on it, all of the stockinette parts of the body, and that went pretty quick. But then it was when I came to the ribbing, because the bottom section, it's like a huge portion of ribbing, and I cannot, I'm not skilled enough to knit in ribbing without looking at my knitting. I'm always super paranoid that I'm gonna get off track and accidentally knit what is supposed to be a purl stitch or vice versa, and then just screw up the whole thing. And so I have to kind of be able to constantly, or at least intermittently, look at my knitting while I'm knitting rib. So once I hit the rib on this, I really slowed down, and it took me a while. It took me a long while to get the ribbing done on this, because there's that ribbing, then there's like just, you know, like your normal ribbing on the sleeves. And then after I was done with that, I pretty much decided right away that I wasn't going to work on this sweater anymore until I was on break in between classes, because the next steps were to add this double knitted edge on the whole thing. It goes all the way around. It's a beautiful detail. I really love it, but if you haven't knit a double knitted edge like this on something, what is that? It's tedious. It's like more tedious than an I-cord edge, I think, personally. It pays out. I really love it. I think it really makes the design look like very crisp, very like not manufactured, because I don't know that that's necessarily a good thing, but like chic, or just quality. It just makes it look like a really quality piece to me. And after that, then you add in the little like I-cord bow so that you can tie it around yourself. And yeah, there was no way I was going to be able to do that while I was studying. So I pretty much decided I'm going to put this on hold. I don't necessarily need it at this exact moment. My courses are only 7 weeks long, so it's not like I had to wait, you know, ages to finish it. So I put it in its project bag and put it away for a couple of weeks. And then I pulled it back out literally the day I took my final, and was pretty much determined to get this done immediately. So this was my most recent finished object, and this is actually the very first time that I'm wearing it. I actually was today is Friday, I think, and my final exam was on Monday, and I just finished it like an hour ago. Steam blocked it, and here it is. And I'm pretty happy with it, quite honestly. I think it fits like a glove, which I wanted. I really wanted that like ballerina top type wrap, and this is exactly what that is. The yarn that I used was, and I am gonna apologize right now if I seem very like all over the place. I feel out of practice. And honestly, it's been a while since I've posted, so I've just had a lot going on, so I'm trying to kind of remember all the details of my projects, so bear with me. But anyways, the yarn that I knit this in is Patons, I think that's how you say it, Patons Classic Wool DK Superwash. And I talked about this in a previous video, I think it was my last video. I got this yarn at like a discount store that is near where my parents live, and I just couldn't pass it up. I paid, I know it says $2.99 on there. That's not what I paid. I paid just over $2, I think. So in total, it was like 20 bucks for this sweater for me to make it. And I had never knit with this. I know it's just like a commercial brand yarn. It's nothing special. It's probably not great for the planet, especially because it's superwash. And who knows where the wool came from. I am an eco-conscious human being. I promise, I really am. I know I'm not the only person out there that's on a budget. I don't know. I think that it's okay to do what you can within your budget. I'm making my own clothes, that's something. So I was concerned that this was going to be itchy. It is a superwash, but it's not like any other superwash I've ever worked with. And I don't think it's that bad, honestly. It's warm. I will say that. I'm definitely warm in it right now. But itchy, no, I don't think it's that bad, honestly. And I don't even have anything on underneath it other than a brassiere. It's not alpaca, but for $2 yarn that I got at a discount shop in northern Michigan, it's not too bad. So if you're looking for something that's budget friendly and does the job and knits up nice, I'd recommend it, I guess. I don't know. I liked it. It got me a sweater that I really like. I love the color. I will say it's picked up a lot of lint, but I guess that's kind of a normal for any kind of like wool made garment, right? Maybe. Yeah, I like it. I highly recommend it. I think that the fit is really nice. I think that the construction was really smart on Florence's part. I don't really have any complaints about it as of right now, but like I said, this is my first time wearing it. Hopefully I'll come back and kind of give a little more detail on it. Maybe next year when I do a all I knit in 2023 or something, I don't know. But as of right now, I like it. I like the way that it sits. I like the way that it shapes, especially like in the, I know you can't see, I guess I could, like in this area, it's really nice. And I'm wearing like, you know, my yoga pants right now, and it hits right at that, like right over that line and covers it. This cute little bow. I thought it was a really nice knit. I really enjoyed it. I would highly recommend this one. It was definitely nice. And I believe it comes in a nice range of sizes. My next finished object was something I had no intention of making at any point. It was a test knit that I randomly applied for one day. I was probably feeling kind of low because of school, or I think I might have even applied for it right before school started. I'm not sure, I can't remember. But saw the test knit, and sometimes I just can't help myself, and that's just the truth. And I'm sure that I'm not the only person who is that way. But I test knit Knitonomy's gnome hat. Here it is. I'm not gonna put it on because I have my hair slicked back, but it's just a really nice basic cable hat. I had leftover yarn from 2 different projects, and they both, as far as I could tell, fit the bid for gauge for this hat, which is why I applied. I didn't have enough of either to do the whole hat in said yarn, so I just decided to mix 2 different kinds of yarns that both met gauge, and I believe the gray is shit, what is it? Filcolana Peruvian Highland wool. Wow, that's embarrassing that I couldn't remember that. And then the like stone sandy colored one. I don't know what you would call that. I don't know what color that is, but that is CaMaRose Lamauld, I think is how you say it, something like that. They are slightly different in gauge. This one is definitely slightly finer, smaller in circumference, I guess, and like more airy. Like it has more, you can kind of see like it's got more of a halo, like little fibers that come off of it than does the Peruvian Highland wool. This is definitely more sturdy, but together I think that they made a really nice hat. It's super warm and it was a fun knit. It was just a nice easy cabled knit. I must have knit it before school started, because there's no way I could have done cables while I was in school. I must have done this like in the beginning of January. Maybe not, I don't know. Sorry, I don't have an actual answer for you, but I did make it and I do really like it, and the pattern is released, and I highly recommend it. It's a good one, fits nicely, and I think there's a few sizes. And then actually, before I forget, my big finished object that I have been dying to show on here. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the pattern so I can remember all the details. She's finally done. She's been done for a little bit, but I haven't filmed, so I haven't been able to show it. But I finally finished my George's sweater. Oh, God. This project has taken me so much effort and so much time to finish, because I had to order yarn for this 3 different times. And the last time I ordered, no, the second to last time I ordered yarn, it took like over a month to get to me because of all of the Royal Mail strikes and everything going on. And I just don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it took me so much effort to figure it out, but finally did. Finally got all the yarn, finally finished it, and I love it. So that's not the best shot of it, but that's the front. And then that's the back, the money maker. And I'll do my best to... I'm not wearing it today for you guys because it is warm. It's cold here, but it's warm, like, it's a warm sweater. I made it in drops brush alpaca, held double, and it is so soft compared to this, but it's very soft, and it's very warm. Like, it's open back, obviously, but I wore this out to dinner with my husband the other night for Valentine's Day, and it's still really cold here in Michigan right now at this time of year. And I'm actually the type of person that's usually pretty cold. And when we were out to eat, I was wearing this and he was like, "Aren't you freezing with your back open like that? Exposed to the world?" I was like, "No, I'm actually really kind of hot right now." So even with an open back, all that back out there. I was still fairly warm in a very chilly restaurant in a chilly state. So it's a great sweater if you're looking to make something that's slightly scandalous, slightly sexy, you know, but you still want to be really warm in the dead of winter. And for anybody who's been watching my videos for a little while, when I first test knit this and got the yarn for it, I had ordered the yarn with the hopes that the yarn was going to be more of like a velvety cherry red, like a Christmas red, because I ordered the yarn in November and I wanted it to be my Christmas sweater, which it wasn't even ready in time for Christmas, so I guess it didn't even matter. But yeah, the pictures online were not accurate, which is no fault of anybody's. It's not a big deal. You know, yada yada yada. But when the yarn got here, it was definitely not red. That is like a purple burgundy color, and the colorway is Bordeaux. So I mean, I knew when I ordered it, there was a shot it was going to be more purple than red, and that's fine. Now that I've had it, now that I've worn it, I realized that this is a much better colorway for me, like my color seasons, whatever. I finally looked up what my color season was, but this is like exactly one of the colors that is supposed to be really great for me to wear, and I think that it absolutely is. I think that this color works so well with the features of my hair and the undertones of my skin, and it was a happy accident, honestly. So sometimes things happen for a reason, even when they're not what you were planning for or expecting. I would also recommend this sweater for sure. I talked about it in the last video, where I don't think it was the last video, maybe the video before that, but I really enjoyed knitting this sweater. I went back and forth actually, where I really enjoyed it and I really didn't enjoy it, and then I really enjoyed it again and then I really didn't enjoy it. But by the end, I really enjoyed it and I was really excited to wear it. And then once I got it off my needles, which before I got it off my needles, this sweater also is a sweater that has a trim, and this one is an I-cord trim. I don't know if you can really see it very well, but there's an I-cord trimming that goes around the whole thing, including the ties. So it's all around everything, and that took me a long time as well. So when I was done, I was just sick of it a little bit, but I was really excited to wear it. I got it off the needles and everything was bound off before I blacked it. I tried it on, which was silly, but you know, it was all kind of like scrunched in on itself, and the ties were really scrunched in on themselves. Like it just looked really not good, and I was feeling really crappy. Like the whole thing just wasn't worth it. But I steam blocked it, and if anybody's at home wondering why I keep saying that I steam block my stuff instead of like washing it and then blocking it, I don't have anywhere to like lay my stuff out sopping wet and blocking it. I don't have the time, honestly, either to do that, and quite honestly, I'm still really leery about the moth situation, so I don't like to leave my knitted stuff just like laying out sopping wet, spewing out fumes of wool for the moths to be attracted to, if there are any moths still around. So I just opt to steam block. It does the job perfectly fine, and eventually I will block my garments appropriately when I'm in an appropriate situation for that. But right now is not that time. So I digress. But anyways, so I steam blocked this, and oh my gosh, it made such a difference. And that's my other point. You don't have to, if you haven't ever tried steam blocking, you should, because it does wonders as well. Maybe not as good as like full on proper blocking, like soaking your stuff and blocking it does, but it does a good job. I only do that right now, and it totally transformed this sweater for me. Well, this one too, but this one, it went from like, I felt like it was a total disaster and a total waste of time and like I was never gonna wear it, to just a total, it just looks like a totally different sweater after blocking it. Like, I love it now. I love wearing it. It is very flattering on me, and hopefully I'll insert some B-roll of me wearing it. I didn't want to wear it today. I'm sorry. It's just too warm for me to be sitting in my bedroom wearing it, because I have to keep my window closed because there's so many sounds out there. But yeah, no, I highly recommend the pattern, and my biggest piece of advice would be to just stay with the process, trust the process, and make sure you block your stuff, because it makes all the difference. At least for me, literally with every single garment, it makes a big difference. But with this one specifically, and like the sleeves, I mean, the bow, it made a big difference for sure, because it was all scrunched in and wrinkly and not defined. So when it was tied up, it just looked like a bunch of like fabric. But then after blocking it, it actually turned into a bow, which is awesome. But then also with the sleeves, they were too short before blocking. Not too short, I mean, they were the proper length because I tried it on, but they just kind of, I don't know, they just didn't feel right. And then after I blocked them, now they have like that droop on the bottom, you know, where it like, I look stupid, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it looks relaxed now. The fibers look nice and relaxed, and I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Very soft. Drops brushed alpaca silk. Also, that was the first time I had used it. I like it, and I don't. I do like it because it makes a very soft fabric, but I do feel like it sheds a lot, and that's okay, I guess. But I don't know that I think I would be tempted to try other like alpaca type yarns thick like that, but if, again, on a budget, it's a perfectly lovely yarn. I would recommend it if you were interested in trying it. It's worth a go for sure. As is the Georgia sweater. And then okay. So next is, okay, yeah, those were the only finished objects. So now we're on to works in progress. Sorry, I'm really scatterbrained today and every day now. That's just my life as a nursing student. But so I am getting so close with this project, and I am just dying to have it. And it's all a mess right now. Hold on. Okay. I want this cardigan so bad, but I cannot seem to finish it for the life of me. I think I've been working on it for at least 6 months now, on and off, for many reasons. The most recent reason being exactly the same reason why I put this one on hold. I've gotten to a point where I've done the sleeves, I've done the body, I've done everything that's like simple knitting. Not simple knitting, I don't mean that. What I mean is like stockinette, like mindless knitting. And I got to that point maybe like 2 weeks ago. And now I have to bind off the body. Well, here. This is my Novice Cardigan Mohair edition by PetiteKnit. And I have knit it in drops Mohair held double in the colorway chalk. And yeah, so right now I am at the point where I need to bind off the body, and I think it's like an Italian bind off. I'm not sure. Hold on. Please hold. Actually, it just says to bind off an established ribbed pattern, but yeah, I'm gonna do like a nice bind off. But that takes effort, it takes energy, it takes eye contact. Like, I can't do that while I'm trying to study how to, you know, take care of a kidney disease patient. So I pretty much decided it had to go on hold, because even after I bind it off, the next step is to put on the plackets, you know, the button band. And I've never even done that before, so I definitely couldn't do that while I was studying for my final exam or whatever. So this guy went on hold about 2 weeks ago, but I think literally today, after I'm done filming this, I am going to pick it back up. I'm gonna bind it off and then figure out how to do a button band, because I want it. I want it so bad. So bad. That should be my thumb tag or whatever it's called. Yeah. And I'm really happy, because the whole issue that I had talked about with the difference in needle that I screwed up at some point here, I don't think it's that noticeable. I actually don't know if it's noticeable at all. So that's awesome. And yeah, I'm ready to have it for spring. It has a very spring-esque vibe about it to me. Very light, airy, but it will be warm, no doubt about that. Yeah, and I think I might have some buttons that I stole off of another sweater that I decided to get rid of. Snipped them off, threw away the other sweater. I'm gonna see if I like them with this. If not, I'll get some new buttons, but I'm just very excited. I'm excited to like sew on buttons, because I haven't done that yet. Yeah, I'm very excited about it. And I think it'll be a very classic look, classic cardigan. And I want the white cardigan, you know, very coastal grandmothery. But that is my first whip. She's almost done. Hopefully in the next video she will be done. Hopefully by like next week she'll be done. But I do have one problem potentially in my way. I have to bind off and then do the button band. And this is all the yarn I have left. It's attached to it, so this is it. And I ordered what the pattern told me I needed. I don't know why this happens to me all the time, guys. I order what the pattern tells me I need, and then I don't have enough. And I don't know why that happens. It's not like I'm like off gauge on all of my, I'm not. I know I'm not off gauge. I might not gauge swatch, but I check my gauge after I've already did the project, and I'm not off gauge on my projects. So I don't understand why I'm constantly running out of yarn. Like, I don't want to have to order more. This sucks, but I'm hoping that, I don't know, send good vibes my way. I hope that this works out for me, because I want this sweater and I want it now. And if I had to order yarn, I'm gonna have to wait for it, and it's not gonna get here until pretty much probably until I start my next semester, and then I'm not gonna have any time to do it, so I'm gonna have to wait another 7 weeks. So send good vibes, send out a prayer for me that this is enough. And next, well, let me put this away. Next is a work in progress. And to kind of give you guys an idea of how my brain is functioning, this 7-week course that I just finished with has given me a really good idea of what to expect for the next 1.5 years of nursing school. My first like 12-week course in the fall of last year was very different from what I think, from what I just experienced from the last 7 weeks and what I expect to experience from here on out until next year when I graduate. So my brain has already kind of tried to figure out how I'm going to fit my knitting in, you know, because that's like really important. And so what I have figured out is that I can still do an adequate amount of knitting if I do it while I'm studying. So the problem with that though is that I can literally only work on stockinette knitting, because I can just sit there and read while I'm knitting or listen to lecture while I'm knitting. Anything more complicated than stockinette is literally out right now. So my what am I trying to say? Help me out, guys. My solution to this problem of I want to knit but I don't have time is that I am going to purposely prep projects during my breaks in between semesters, because these 7-week semesters, it seems like I get 2 to 2.5 weeks in between them, and then in the summertime I'll have like a month or so, which is awesome. But then come fall it'll be the same thing: 7-week course, couple week break, 7-week course, couple week break, so on and so forth until summer again, or until graduation actually. So what I'm gonna do, because I still have, in 2 weeks I start a 7-week course. Then when that 7-week course is done, I'll have 2 or 3 weeks off, and then I start another 7-week course that goes into like the middle of actual summertime, and then I'll have most of July and August off, and then I'll start another 7-week course, yada yada yada. So to prepare for my 7-week course that is coming up in a couple of weeks, I decided I'm going to cast on a couple of projects, get all of the, you know, like casting on, any kind of increasing, decreasing, any kind of like difficult stuff that has to do with like getting sweaters ready to go, you know, like raglans and short rows, any kind of that kind of stuff out of the way. That way, in 2 weeks, when you know, school starts back up, I will have projects to work on where all I have to do is knit in the round, stockinette on the body, and then pick up for sleeves and do sleeves, and then literally be done. And or do the same thing where if I get to like ribbing at the bottom or like a difficult bind off or something, so anything intricate on the end of that project, I'll push it to the side and leave it until after finals, and then work on it during my break again before, and work on it at the beginning of my break, get it done, and then again prep a few projects to have ready to go for the next 7-week course. So right now, my project that I have prepped and is ready to go, and I'm not working on it currently, and I don't plan on working on it again until school starts back up, is my Cumulus blouse by PetiteKnit. And I don't know why I show you the back sometimes, but just in case you want to see it. I'm actually happy with the color. When I got it, I was a little like, which I always am, but I think I like it. I think it'll be a nice sandy color on me. Won't wash me out too much, but let's see. So the yarn that I'm using is CaMaRose Midnetsol. I don't know. It's nice. It's 54% baby alpaca, 36% tinsel, and 10% wool. And it's in the color Lisambon. Sorry, I butcher most things on this channel, if you don't already know that. Yeah, it's basically kind of like the Drops brushed alpaca silk, but instead of silk, it has wool in it and tinsel. I had heard some good things about it. I think that Casey from Young Folk Knits, wow, I can't believe I almost just forgot the name of that. That's like my favorite YouTube channel and I almost forgot it. Sorry, Casey. But anyways, I'm pretty sure that she actually has used this recently a couple of times because she's allergic to mohair. So she substitute a lot of mohair type things for alpaca. And I think, if I'm recalling correctly, she's using this in a project currently. I don't know which one, but I'm pretty sure. Because I think I've heard her try to pronounce it too, and I don't know, she might be saying it better than me, so comment if one of us is saying it better than the other. But it's a nice yarn. I'm holding it double and it's very soft. I think it's very soft. Everything is soft compared to this, but I would say compared to, they're both equally soft, I would say. This is plusher. Like, it's squishier than this is. This has got more body to it than this. This is lighter, heavier. So if you're looking for something for like dead of winter, that's what you want. And if you're looking for something for like the cumulus blouse, like a nice lightweight, but warm, of course, yarn, I would recommend this. I haven't worn it yet, obviously, so maybe that recommendation will change down the road. But as of right now, I'm enjoying knitting with it. It's really easy on my hands and my fingers. Sometimes yarns will actually, like, I don't know if anybody else gets it, but sometimes some yarns will actually like callus up certain areas of certain fingers where it's like constantly sliding across. I think it's this, yeah. I think it's this finger. It like eats away at my skin, certain yarns. Like this yarn. But this does not. This is really soft, really pleasant to work with. And yeah, so that's my plan, to go forward with making sure I get enough knitting in with knitting school. With nursing school, that's my plan on how to fit my knitting in. I have to be strategic about having projects prepped and ready for me, so I don't have to think about difficult stuff for 7 weeks while I'm working on them. And I do have another project or two in mind that I haven't started, but I think I'm gonna start in the next couple of days, get them prepped and ready to go for when my next semester starts in a couple of weeks. But I'm not going to talk about them today because I am planning on filming another video before I start school back up, so I will talk about them then. But yeah, I don't know how much I really need to talk about the cumulus blouse because it's probably one of the most well-known patterns in the PetiteKnit universe out there. I personally have been dying to make one for a long time. I don't know, it just looks like a nice, cozy, simple, easy, not fancy sweater, and I feel like most of the sweaters I've made are not fancy, but not like just basic, you know? I just really wanted a basic knit sweater. Not a turtleneck, not a mock neck, not a wrap, not something with a big giant bow on the back or lace or anything like that. I just wanted something really basic, and I don't think anything gets more basic than the Cumulus blouse. So that's why I chose it. And I figured it would be nice to have too for early spring, early summer, and then going into fall I'll have it. So that's my, is that my first? No, this is my second work in progress. And I'm not going to work on it anymore until school starts in a couple of weeks. And then my last work in progress that I'm going to talk about today. Actually, before I even say that, I don't have any acquisitions. The only acquisition that I had since Christmas was actually this yarn for the Cumulus blouse. I had bought it for, I had actually applied for a test knit, and I I bought it on the off chance that I was going to be selected for that test knit, which I wasn't, which is fine. And then I had it, and so now it's the Cumulus blouse. So that's it for acquisitions. And then my last work in progress, I like this project, and I want the finished object, but it's kind of a pain to work on. And even though it is mostly stockinette, it actually takes too much effort to work on. So before I dive into that, it is my Sophie shawl that I am knitting in Drops Alpaca Boucle. And I don't know if it has an actual name, but it's their darker brown color, which when I ordered it, again, I thought it was gonna be like this color brown. That ain't the same. That's okay, no big deal. Yeah, I cast this project on because I'm gonna butcher her name. Adil Wasingi on Instagram. She's just a really cute knitting content producer on Instagram, and I love her style. I love all of her projects, and she in early December posted a picture of her wearing her newly finished Sophie shawl in Drops Alpaca Boucle in white, and it urged me to buy some of this yarn as part of a Christmas gift from one of my in-laws, and I don't know, I wanted it, so I bought it and I cast it on, and I really enjoy it. I've actually come to realize that I cast it on in one strand, so I'm just holding just one strand, but I've recently learned that she did hers holding it double, so I don't know where I missed that, but I did. But I don't think it makes a big difference. It doesn't look like super see-through or anything. I think it's fine, and honestly, if I had held it double, I think it would have been too thick. But boucle yarn, maybe it's just me, maybe it's this boucle yarn specifically. This is the first time I've worked with boucle yarn, but it is not easy for me to work with. I don't know if anybody shares that opinion. I certainly can't knit it without looking at it, because I'm constantly picking up like the little loops of the yarn, you know, like not the stitches, but like the little tiny, I don't know you know, like the little loops that come out, the boucle. I'm constantly picking those up by accident and making new stitches that don't belong there. And so this actually takes a lot more effort than I anticipated it would. Plus the Sophie shawl, Sophie scarf actually is not as mindless as some people may think. You do have to keep count of your rows so that you know when and where you're making increases and such, because if you don't, then you will lose track and things will happen where it becomes uneven. I don't know if you can tell right, like there, like right here, that happened to me. I don't know, I was probably, I don't know, but I wasn't paying attention, and it's not even. There's plenty of mess ups all around. So as much as I do want this finished project, and I do like it as I am feeling it, and you know, like think about it being like a scarf, it's cute. I know I will like it when it is done. It just right now takes too much effort for me, which is such a shame to say since it's just a Sophie shawl. Like, it's not that difficult, but it's not completely mindless. It takes effort already, and because of the boucle yarn, it takes double too much effort for me that I can't contribute to it. So this actually gets put off to the side quite a lot. I do pick it up periodically. I tend to leave it in my backpack. That way I can work on it. I work on it mostly actually in my car. Like if I get to like my clinical site early, or if I get to school early, I'll work on it in my car for a little bit, just because I don't want this project to die. I definitely don't want this project to die. I have only ever let maybe 1 or 2 projects die, and I don't like when that happens. And I like this yarn and I like this project too much to let it just kind of go into the unfinished project universe. So I do want it, but I will say that the closer we get to spring now, the less motivated I am to work on it. And I don't know, it might be a project that I'll get a lot done on this year, but I probably won't realistically finish it until the fall. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets shoved onto the back shelf and then spring comes around, and what do I need a scarf in the springtime for? And then, you know, I don't know, maybe in the fall. Maybe the fall is when it's destined to be done. Maybe I'll be really excited to pick up a half done project in August, you know. It'll still be hot and I'll be wanting to make something for fall, and maybe that's when it'll be, when it's time to shine will be, I don't know. But yeah, so those are the things I have recently finished, the projects that I'm currently working on, and some of the projects that I am going to be working on. Like I said, I am planning on filming one more time before I do start back up in a couple of weeks, and I will touch more in that video about future plans for knitting. So please be patient with me. I really am gonna try and be better about carving out some time to post these videos. I really appreciate anybody who's stuck around. And yeah, I'm gonna go because my sister-in-law's dog is now scratching at my door. Yeah, and until I see you guys again, have a good one.